You guys, I need you to sit down for this one. Because what Klay Thompson just did to Megan Thee Stallion is not a breakup. It is not a scandal. It is not celebrity gossip. What Klay Thompson just did is something the entire industry, every label executive, every publicist, every ghostwriter on payroll, and every rented friend in her orbit has been trying to prevent for 6 straight years. Klay Thompson just cracked the vault. Klay Thompson just walked into the middle of the Roc Nation machine, looked at the cameras, looked at the lawyers, looked at every single outlet that has been sued, threatened, harassed, hit with fake copyright claims, and buried under legal bills for daring to whisper the truth, and Klay Thompson said the quiet part out loud. And baby, once the quiet part is out loud, it never goes back in the box. Ever. Listen. Listen to what Klay Thompson allegedly told a source, because this is the sentence that is going to end an entire era of manufactured victimhood. Klay Thompson said Megan Thee Stallion is ghetto. Klay Thompson said Megan Thee Stallion is loud. Klay Thompson said Megan Thee Stallion is uneducated. Klay Thompson said Megan Thee Stallion is annoying. And Klay Thompson said Klay Thompson was dying to get away from her. Now pause. Pause right there. Because I need you guys to understand what just happened in that paragraph. That was not a breakup quote. That was a hostage note written in daylight. That was a man who spent an entire season smiling in courtside seats, nodding through gala performances, showing up to red carpets, and quietly counting the days until Klay Thompson could exit the building without getting sued into powder. Klay Thompson didn't fumble Megan Thee Stallion. Klay Thompson escaped Megan Thee Stallion. And here is where nobody, and I mean nobody, is connecting the dots. Everybody is arguing about who cheated. Everybody is arguing about who lied. Everybody is arguing about the Instagram story, the horrible mood swings line, the monogamy break, the whole hot girl summer relaunch. Cute. But you guys are staring at the fireworks and missing the arson. Because the real story is not Klay Thompson versus Megan Thee Stallion. The real story is Klay Thompson versus the machine that built Megan Thee Stallion. And that machine, whose name rhymes with Roc Nation, does not lose quietly. That machine files. That machine threatens. That machine buys the picture, then sues you for using the picture, then denies you ever had the picture in the first place. That machine has come for outlets. That machine has come for commentators. That machine has come for voices with actual notoriety who dare to point out that Megan Thee Stallion's public story and Megan Thee Stallion's private receipts do not, have never, and will never match. So when Klay Thompson, a 4-time NBA champion with generational money, an army of lawyers, and absolutely nothing to prove to a rapper, decides to leak, whisper, and light the fuse anyway, baby, that is not petty. That is a message. And the message is this. The machine is not scary anymore. Let me walk you through it. Because I want you to see it the way I see it. When Megan Thee Stallion first walked into Klay Thompson's world, Klay Thompson bought the brochure. Klay Thompson bought the misunderstood victim edit. Klay Thompson bought the Rihanna-coded innocence rebrand. Klay Thompson bought the loud is empowerment sales pitch. Klay Thompson bought Hot Girl Summer as a personality, not as a warning label. And for a minute, Klay Thompson believed Megan Thee Stallion was the one exception. The one that everybody got wrong. The one the internet was too mean to. Klay Thompson thought Klay Thompson was going to be the man who unlocked the soft, quiet, submissive Megan Thee Stallion that nobody else got to see. And then Klay Thompson walked into that lavish mansion Klay Thompson bought with championship money, sat on that couch after a Mavericks game, expected some ice on the Achilles, expected a warm plate, expected a woman who understood that the man of the house just got out of a war, and instead Klay Thompson got the WAP tour rehearsal in the living room. Klay Thompson got the 4 in the morning club voice. Klay Thompson got the tippy-toe twerk on the marble countertop. Klay Thompson got main character syndrome in HD, in surround sound, in his own house, on his own furniture, on the one night he wanted silence. And something inside Klay Thompson broke. That is when Klay Thompson realized. Klay Thompson realized Megan Thee Stallion is not misunderstood. Megan Thee Stallion is exactly understood. The streets had her right. The industry had her right. The list had her right. The receipts, the group chats, the listening parties, the passed around jokes, the Henny 2-cup rumor, the sneaky link resume, the whole loud, boisterous, uncouth, main character package. Right. All of it. Right. Klay Thompson realized Klay Thompson did not date a rapper. Klay Thompson wifed a rotation. And gang, once a man realizes that, once that switch flips inside a man's head, no gala performance, no matching outfit, no PR-approved kiss on the cheek is ever going to flip it back. Klay Thompson checked out mentally somewhere in the middle of the second gala. That head nod, the one everybody clipped, the one everybody laughed at, the one everybody circulated as proof that Klay Thompson could not stand Megan Thee Stallion? That head nod was not a head nod. That head nod was a resignation letter. That head nod was Klay Thompson quietly clocking out of a relationship in front of 10,000 cameras. And now, months later, Klay Thompson is doing something nobody in Megan Thee Stallion's orbit expected. Klay Thompson is telling. Klay Thompson is not filing motions. Klay Thompson is not tweeting subs. Klay Thompson is not going on a podcast crying about being cheated on. Klay Thompson is doing something a lot more dangerous. Klay Thompson is planting stories in the Daily Mail through a source close to Klay Thompson, calmly, professionally, in full sentences, on the record enough to sting and off the record enough to sue. And every single sentence Klay Thompson's source drops is a stake through the heart of a myth. The myth that Megan Thee Stallion represents the average black woman. Stop. Stop right there. Because that is the biggest lie of this entire decade, and Klay Thompson just torched it. Megan Thee Stallion does not represent the average black woman. Megan Thee Stallion represents a very specific, very loud, very industry-manufactured archetype that got sold to little black girls as liberation and got sold to grown black men as a personality flaw with a fat behind attached. That is not culture. That is not sisterhood. That is a marketing plan wearing a lace front. And listen, listen, listen. I need the women watching this to hear me clearly. Because there is an entire generation of young women out there right now watching the Heiress, watching the young Miamis, watching the Chrisian Rocs, watching the Megan Thee Stallions, watching the Jaden Alexis wannabes, and taking notes. Taking notes like being loud is a strategy. Taking notes like being ratchet is a resume. Taking notes like being obnoxious in public is how you land the introvert with 4 rings. Taking notes like the Russell Wilson type man, the quiet money man, the awkward gala nodding man, is the golden ticket that lets you cash in every one of your worst personality traits without consequence. And Klay Thompson just walked up to that entire generation of young women and slapped the pen out of their hand. Klay Thompson said no. Klay Thompson said Klay Thompson is not different. Klay Thompson said Klay Thompson does not want the loud. Klay Thompson said Klay Thompson does not want the ghetto. Klay Thompson said Klay Thompson does not want the uncouth. Klay Thompson said Klay Thompson does not want the swine, the harlot, the beast mode partner, the woman who thinks she is the man of the house. Klay Thompson said Klay Thompson is like 99.999% of every other man on this planet. Klay Thompson tolerated Megan Thee Stallion. Klay Thompson never wanted Megan Thee Stallion. And every man on your timeline just quietly nodded in agreement, the same way Klay Thompson nodded at that gala. Now let me address the part that is going to get me clipped, dragged, screenshotted, and misquoted, because I do not care. Here is the truth about why men mess with the loud girl in the first place. Every man watching this already knows. Every woman watching this already knows we know. The loud girl, the ratchet girl, the profanity every 5 words girl, the roll back the odometer girl, the 2 cups of Henny girl, that girl has always occupied one specific role in the ecosystem. Sneaky link. Side plot. 4 in the morning contact. Weekend rotation. She is not a wife. She is a chapter. She is not a partner. She is a phase. Every man who ever publicly linked with Megan Thee Stallion treated Megan Thee Stallion exactly like that. Tory Lanez treated Megan Thee Stallion like that, allegedly running the roster with Megan Thee Stallion and Megan Thee Stallion's own friend at the same time. Blueface treated Megan Thee Stallion like that, allegedly pulling up in the middle of a crisis for one specific reason, and it wasn't roses. DaBaby treated Megan Thee Stallion like that, in the middle of his own personal chaos, showing up for the guts and only the guts. The only man who ever tried to wife Megan Thee Stallion is a ghostwriter. A ghostwriter. Do the math, gang. Do the math. A 4-ring champion looks at that dating resume and calls Megan Thee Stallion the girlfriend? That was Klay Thompson's mistake. And Klay Thompson corrected the mistake in real time, in public, through a Daily Mail source, in a way that can never be unsaid. But here is the layer everybody is missing. Here is the angle nobody, and I mean nobody, has touched. Because everybody is arguing about who cheated on who. Everybody is arguing about mood swings. Everybody is arguing about whether Klay Thompson was lonely in the mansion, or Megan Thee Stallion was too busy on tour. Cute. 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 That is the surface. That is the decoy. That is the story the machine wants you fighting about, because as long as you are fighting about the breakup, you are not looking at the leak itself. And the leak itself is the actual news. Think. Think about it. Klay Thompson did not have to say anything. Klay Thompson is a private, awkward, gala-nodding, 4-time champion introvert who has spent his entire career avoiding drama. Klay Thompson could have blocked Megan Thee Stallion's number, changed the locks on the mansion, deleted every photo, and vanished into a Mavericks locker room forever. Nobody would have blamed Klay Thompson. Nobody would have chased Klay Thompson. Nobody would have sued Klay Thompson. So why did Klay Thompson leak? Why did Klay Thompson risk it? Why did Klay Thompson feed a source, arm a tabloid, and light a flare over the very Roc Nation machine that has crushed voices bigger and louder than Klay Thompson's for a decade straight? Because Klay Thompson is not scared anymore. And that is the shift. That is the earthquake. That is the moment the industry has been terrified of. When a champion, a genuine ring-wearing, guaranteed money, Hall of Fame track, respected in every room athlete decides that the reputational cost of telling the truth about Megan Thee Stallion is lower than the reputational cost of pretending Megan Thee Stallion was ever the woman Megan Thee Stallion's PR team said Megan Thee Stallion was, the game is over. Because now every other man who dated Megan Thee Stallion is looking at the Daily Mail like, oh, we can do that? Oh, the sky did not fall? Oh, Klay Thompson leaked and nobody got sued into oblivion? Oh, the copyright claim army did not descend? Then baby, the floodgates are about to open. Because there are receipts. There are group chats. There are voice notes. There are hotel bills. There are producers, engineers, tour riders, security guards, hairstylists, and industry insiders who have been sitting on Megan Thee Stallion stories for 5 years because everyone knew the machine would come for them if they talked. Klay Thompson just proved the machine can be walked past. And once you prove that, the machine is finished. And this is the part where I want to be very careful with what I am saying, because I am not being malicious. I am being accurate. Megan Thee Stallion built an entire empire on being seen as the victim, not the artist. The victim. The misunderstood one. The bullied one. The one the internet was too mean to. The one who never had sex with the dude, until the receipts said Megan Thee Stallion did. The one who was innocent, until the inconsistencies said Megan Thee Stallion was not. The one who was the Rihanna of her generation, until people noticed the roster and did the math. And every single time a voice, an outlet, or a commentator with actual reach dared to point out the gap between the story and the receipts, the machine came. The machine filed. The machine threatened. The machine bought pictures from stock agencies and then sued outlets for supposedly using pictures the machine had quietly retroactively purchased. Yes. Yes. That is a real thing that happens. That is a real thing that happened to real people. Google it. That is not a talking point. That is a business model. And Klay Thompson just made that business model look like a paper tiger with a Roc Nation logo stapled to it. Now let me rewind the timeline for a second, because I need everybody to see the receipts in order. Go back to that inaugural Pete and Thomas Foundation gala. That night is the smoking gun. Cameras rolling. Charity crowd watching. Megan Thee Stallion up on the stage, singing along, having the whole hot girl moment. And right next to Megan Thee Stallion is Klay Thompson. Motionless. Silent. Nodding one time. One time. That is not shy. That is not introvert energy. Klay Thompson has stood next to Steph Curry on a championship parade route and been more animated than that. Klay Thompson has celebrated bench three-pointers harder than that. So when Klay Thompson stood next to Megan Thee Stallion at Megan Thee Stallion's own gala and gave the crowd one dead nod, that was Klay Thompson broadcasting a signal to every man watching. The signal was, I do not want to be here. The signal was, this is not my woman. The signal was, save me. And a year later, an anonymous Daily Mail source is saving Klay Thompson in slow motion. The gala clip and the Daily Mail leak are not two events. They are Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the same escape plan. And another thing. Something nobody is saying out loud yet. The reason the mansion loneliness angle rings hollow to me is because Klay Thompson is not a lonely in the mansion type of man. Klay Thompson goes fishing. Klay Thompson goes on boats. Klay Thompson disappears for days without a phone. Klay Thompson is the definition of a man who is fine by himself. So when the source complains that Megan Thee Stallion was too busy on tour, that is not a real complaint. That is packaging. That is Klay Thompson's team softening the exit. The real complaint, the one hiding underneath, is that when Megan Thee Stallion did come home, home did not feel like home. Home felt like a green room. Home felt like a music video shoot. Home felt like Klay Thompson was living inside the WAP outro. And no championship ring on earth prepares a man for that. Klay Thompson would rather be alone on a lake at 5 in the morning than share a couch with a rented personality at midnight. That is not a mood swing. That is a mismatch of the soul. And can we please talk about Roc Nation for a second, since everybody is dancing around the name? Because this is where the story stops being about Megan Thee Stallion and starts being about a pattern. A pattern that has been running for years. A pattern where any voice with any reach that steps sideways of a Roc Nation client suddenly finds itself on the wrong end of a legal envelope. A picture you thought you licensed from a stock agency? Suddenly the client's team owns it, retroactively, and now you are the defendant. A commentary clip about a client's inconsistencies. Suddenly you are getting harassed, flagged, DMCA'd into oblivion, and dragged into arbitration you cannot afford. That is not free speech protection. That is legal warfare dressed up as intellectual property. And that legal warfare has been the invisible wall around Megan Thee Stallion since the Tory Lanez circus. Nobody with a real platform wanted to touch Megan Thee Stallion's inconsistencies because everybody remembered which outlets got shredded the last time. So the story stayed sealed. The rotation stayed hidden. The gala nod stayed a joke. And Megan Thee Stallion got to keep the victim crown. Klay Thompson just pulled the crown off. And Klay Thompson has enough lawyers, enough money, and enough championship insulation that the machine cannot legally strike back. That is the checkmate. That is the reason this leak matters more than 100 podcast rants ever could. So here is where we are, gang. Here is the map. Klay Thompson is not a hero. Klay Thompson is not a villain. Klay Thompson is a canary. Klay Thompson is the first bird down the mine, and Klay Thompson is still standing, still breathing, still wearing 4 rings, still cashing Mavericks checks, still living in that mansion, still nodding at galas Klay Thompson does not have to attend anymore. Which means the mine is safe. Which means the next man is going to talk. And the next one. And the next one. And every woman who tried to build a personality on top of Megan Thee Stallion's blueprint, every young girl who thought loud was love, every industry planner who thought main character energy could survive a real relationship with a real man who has real options, is about to watch the archetype collapse in slow motion. This is not a breakup story. This is a genre extinction event. Hot Girl Summer is not just over. Hot Girl Summer is being audited. In public. On the record. By a 4-time NBA champion who used to live with Megan Thee Stallion. And one last thing, because I have to say it. To the women who are watching this and getting mad at me right now, I love you. I do. But I need you to hear me. The men who tolerate the loud, the ratchet, the profanity, the main character syndrome, they are not choosing you. They are renting you. They are running the meter. They are getting the sneaky link value, the freakiest reputation value, the exciting story for the group chat value, and then they are exiting the second a Klay Thompson level opportunity for peace, quiet, and a woman who knows how to lower her voice walks through the door. Do not build a whole personality on being the girl a man puts up with. Build a personality on being the woman a man protects. Those are 2 different resumes. Megan Thee Stallion is watching Klay Thompson pick option B in front of the entire world right now, and Megan Thee Stallion cannot even sue the truth out of the Daily Mail. That is the lesson. That is the receipt. That is the whole video. And here is a footnote to all of this, because every good story needs one. Klay Thompson did not do this for revenge. Klay Thompson did this so no other man walks blindly into a manufactured personality thinking low. Anyway, y'all. Klay Thompson said what a lot of quiet men have been thinking for a very long time, and the machine cannot unsay it. Let me know in the comments if you saw this coming, if you were still in the misunderstood Megan camp, or if the gala head nod told you everything you needed to know a year ago. I will be live later on to break down every source that drops after this, because trust me, more sources are dropping. Talk to y'all later. Bye.